Hello, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be making a tier list, an objectively correct, never wrong tier list. Before we get started, let me just turn my volume down in my headphones. It's very loud. Okay, I think that's better. Well, yeah, this is just going to be for the units, not the emblems. And I got my little things, I can pull them out here like this. So hopefully it works. I do need to delete this. I can barely see it. Yeah, let me make this a little bigger for me to see. Yeah, I am gonna try to record this in one go. Anyway. But yeah, we're just gonna go along down the line of units. Starting with Alchrist and ending with Zelkov, I guess, and skipping the emblems in the middle and putting them in a tier list. And I'm gonna explain my reasonings behind every placement and whatnot, you know, give you a feel for stuff. But yeah, let's start with Alchrist. Not off to a great start, D tier. This for me, it's just how do I explain this? There's a better candidate for what he can do. Luna is great and all, but I don't like relying on it for stuff. Also, as far as I remember, Alchrist doesn't really have great magic, so, and Radiant Bow is one of the best things to have in this game. But yeah, he's just not my favorite. I don't really have any better reasoning than that. But yeah. Next up is the Aleers. Aleers are also D tier. The reason behind this is they're just such a low level to start. Like, you have to invest in them a lot, and really they just end up becoming a support bot because they're dragons, you know? That's like the only real thing they're good for. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of boring to have your lord, you know, resort to being support so much. Now, if we go ranking like the emblem versions of them, that would probably be higher, like B or C. Excuse me. Yeah, and just like, you know, we gotta address the alpha in the room. The Pepsi Cola hair is not doing them any favors. But yeah. Alfred. So Alfred is going to be B tier. He's pretty tanky early on in the game. Besides, like, maybe Vander, like, he's the tankiest unit that you get. Well, other than like Louis, but like as a Cavalier, he's got that momentum, or not momentum. What am I saying? Mobility advantage over Vander, or not Vander, Louis. Sorry, I'm getting my thoughts all jumbled up while I'm doing this. But he has good defense growth, and he can be used to tank early on. His special class Avenir is pretty fun for that too, where you get Golden Lotus and you can tank with that. He comes with Lance and Sword proficiency too, so you can make him like a general even. Double down on that defensive growth. But yeah, overall, you know, Alfred's a good stand-up guy, and I think he's B tier. Next up is Amber. Now, the thing about Amber is he's got high strength, but he's got really low res, and I think he's got like medium like defense. Basically, like, all his stats are like a little underwhelming, except like his strength, I think, if I'm remembering the growths correctly. I might have to pull it up in a second, but for that I'm gonna put him in C tier. And just remember, this tier list is objectively correct. So yeah, he is the alpaca wrangling master. That's what gets him out of D. I am ranking partially based on their personalities and as well. That's part of why Alchrist and Aleer are D. And I like Amber, but he's kind of dumb, which is, you know, not helping him out here. next up is Anna. We're starting off with a lot of low tiers. Anna's a C tier as well. And the reason for this is that she's an axe fighter at level 5, and in order to get her to be in a good class, you have to invest 5 whole levels into her as an axe fighter, which she just way underperforms. And by the way, I'm thinking about all this in maddening terms as well, so yeah, if I didn't mention that, I'm mentioning it now. Yeah, Anna, I love Anna to death, but she just doesn't perform in her base class. Like, you can't change her into warrior and have her skyrocket. Like, it just doesn't work. You have to put all this extra work in to get her good, and she has 50% magic growth as an axe fighter, which just doesn't really work for her. And, you know, as they like to say, children should be seen but not recruited. Yeah, but that's what I think about Anna. Boucheron. Boucheron is definitely a solid B tier. You know, he's not terrible, but he's an axe fighter who's actually good at being an axe fighter, unlike Anna. I don't have all the growths pulled up. Perhaps I should. Let me get that really quick. Seren's Forest. And then characters, growth rates. Okay, here we go. So Boucheron has 85 HP growth and 20 strength, whereas like we were just talking about Anna, who has where is Anna on this list? Why can't I find Anna? Only has 15% strength. And you know, the thing about Annie's got 20 build, which is I think is the highest out of anyone. Yeah, 20 build, just naturally, which is pretty whack actually. So you can make him into, you can give him some pretty heavy stuff. I'd say the downside is his low level, but other than that, he's a solid unit, and having a backup early in the game is nice. And he's got plenty of options for where he can go. Okay, Bune. I think you all know where this is going. Bune is obviously S tier. Like, I mean, if you haven't seen my other video about why Bune is S tier, just go watch that, and it should explain most of the reasoning. But mainly because he starts off in an advanced class, a good advanced class. He's got good growth rates. Let me see what they are, just to make sure. But I think he has good HP, good luck, good 40 dex, 30 strength, and 45 defense. So pretty good growth rates. In fact, he's almost like as tanky as like Louis, but he's not the tankiest unit. But and like just having that mobility with great defense is pretty awesome as well. And you know, you can give him an emblem and power him up even more. And that's not even mentioning his like amazing personality. Like, he is a chef who cooks. He's messing with Jade's armor and whatnot, you know. But yeah, Bune, obvious S. Like, come on, do we even need to have this discussion? Saline, mixed growths, B tier. I like Vidam. Is that, if that's how you say it, Vidame? Ignis is super cool. The only issue is on maddening, it's kind of difficult to get her to perform because she's torn between strength and magic growths. In fact, she has better strength growth than magic growth, I think. Yeah, she has 35% strength and 25% magic. I should, now that I think about it, I'm gonna pull up the class growth rates as well. Classes growth rates. Yeah, Vidam has more magic growth. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I like her. This is like unrelated, but I like her on like Leaf at like a high level because she can actually use physical and magic. unlike most units in this game. But that's just like if you're like trolling around in the end, like in like end game stuff on normal mode. On maddening mode, she just kind of underperforms, but she likes tea, so that's definitely a plus. Next up is Chloe. Chloe is also a B. Yeah. Don't worry though, we'll get to some more S and A's pretty soon. I think. I actually have this tier list planned out, so like I already did the tier list and I'm just putting them in and giving my explanations. Anyway, Chloe can become a Griffin right off the bat, and Griffins are pretty good in this game. The only problem is she just like kind of has low strength and build, if I remember correct. She only's got 5 build. She's very fast though. Very fast and accurate, which is nice. And she has good availability. You just have to level her up a little bit before you can go to like Griffin or even Wyvern if you want to. I did that on my playthrough. I made her a Lance Sword Wyvern. But she just doesn't really show the potential I need to see for an S or an A. Very great character, don't get me wrong. And also she like watched O'Lear sleep in the C support, which is a little weird. Okay. Next up is Citrine. Citrine's a B also. We have a lot of B's already. But yeah, Citrine is very magic based, but she's very slow. So you got 40% magic growth, which is the highest, I think. Oh, besides Anna, but Anna's an axe fighter, so that doesn't matter. But she's got really low speed, low defenses, low build. So this is if she's just meant to like be finishing off enemies like with her strong magic. You don't really want to put her in harm's way, so that kind of undermines her value to me, because I like units that can, you know, fight and stay alive for a while and not get one shot every time, you know. But she definitely has her uses. I mean, I'm using her in my playthrough with Celica, and she's not been doing as good as other units, but she's certainly putting her work in. So, but she's definitely a solid B. And then next up is Clan, who is just better Citrine, obviously, but he's still B because his magic growth is kind of bad. He's only got 10% as a base magic growth, and as a mage he has, I'm trying to find it, plus 25. So he's a good early game. He's very solid early game. He just falls off really quickly. But that's why I'm keeping him in B, is because of how good he is in the early game. Like, he is a boss killer in the early game. I'd say for the like first 6 chapters he's really solid, because he's fast and he's got good magic, but his magic growth just isn't amazing. So that's what puts him in B. And I like Clan. He likes pickles, so it's cool as well. Alright, Diamant. This is gonna be our last B for a while, but Diamant is also B. He's a good tank. The issue I have with him is he's got really low dex. I mean, he has a skill that helps with that, which is nice, but yeah, he's got great defense and build, also strength. So the only issue is he uses swords and axes, so he can be a little inaccurate with the axes sometimes. And I personally just never liked his character too much, so that's why he's in B. Anyway, we're gonna skip past all these emblems and get to Etie. Now, Etie is an easy S tier, I believe. That's why I wrote down. Yes. This one is self-explanatory. You can, like, people are so hung up on calling Etie B tier, obviously, but you know what they say. You can reclass it a warrior and watch her skyrocket. It doubles down on her strength. She has great availability, so she can go to like any class because she's available like when Lee first joins. So you can make her a warrior, watch her skyrocket. You can make her sword master for the memes. You can do a lot of stuff with her, and she's just fun to use, and she likes weights, which is great. She does have low defenses, but I think her strength and dex make up for it a lot. So yeah, that's my reasoning there. And, you know, you can't not put Etie in S tier. Etie is pretty awesome. Okay, next up is Fogado. Fogado is another S tier. The thing about Fogado is he's basically the only, well, unless you like mess around with classes a bunch, which I'm not good at, but he is a really good radiant bow user, which is great. And he's a cav, and he can use swords, so he's kind of like Saline, but a cav archer in terms of like what his growths are. If that makes sense. So like Saline has similar, in fact they have very similar growths, except Fogado is even faster. Yeah, he's got more build too, more HP. I think his class is just better too, like because of the yeah, he's got some good stuff going for him. He's mobile, he can use bows, he can use the radiant, he's really the only radiant bow user in the game I like. And that just, and like he's voiced by Zena Robinson, so that's an obvious S tier if you ask me. Next up is Fram. Fram is a B tier. Just like Clan, she's really the only reason she's so high up, in my opinion, is because she's like the only healer you get until like Jean, which we'll talk about Jean later. But if you want healing or a key adept, whatever, you gotta use Fram. And she's not terrible, she's fast, so she can take a hit, but she is fragile, so like I say, one hit, like, period. Do not put her in harm's way if you can avoid it. She's a little annoying if you've ever seen the Alir Fram supports. That's another thing keeping her from being like A. But yeah, that's just that there. And then next up is Gold Mary. I'm tempted to put her in S, but she's gonna go in A, and I'm trying not to use bias here. What can I say here about Gold Mary? She's a fantastic unit. She has the best defense growth in the game, despite not being actually an armored unit. I can check real quick. Yeah, Gold Mary, 55% defense growth, which is absurd. It's higher than Louis, it's higher than, the blacked out one, which is Mauvir, which is not letting me see. It's not letting me click on it. The other great thing too, she comes in the Hero class, and Hero is really good. She's 2 levels away from Brave Assist. I made her a Brave Assist bot in my playthrough, and she's just got the, I mean, perfect personality. I could go on and on, but you know how it is. She's quite literally the perfect unit in every way. Alright, who's next? Hortensia. So if you want a flying unit that can use magic and staffs and be the best staff bot in the game, you're obviously going to go in S tier. She's fast. Her only real weakness is her like tankiness. Like, she gets one shot by a lot, like pretty much any physical attack. But if you're using Hortensia, you're using her as Sleipnir Rider, and you're not getting her attacked like that in the first place, so it's fine. What can I say? Like, her personal skill, like +1 range on healing staffs, that's already OP enough. With 1 range staffs, like being able to 1 range staff at 2 range is pretty awesome. I can't say I've used Hortensia, mainly because of her personality, but like she's just so useful in combat that I just don't, I can't argue the personality bringing her down here. Next up is Ivy, and this is just D. Like, I don't even know where to begin with this one. Like, she can't hit things, she's effective dragon and flying, so like she's just prone to get one shot. She has really low luck, so she's prone to get crit. I mean, her only real advantage is being able to fly and use magic, which I think is overrated by most people. But yeah, not much to say about Ivy. Sorry, Ivy fans. I just don't like Ivy. She can't hit stuff, and she's slow too. That's the other thing. She's like Citrine, but if she had terrible luck and was one shot by everything. I mean, Citrine is one shot by everything, but you were also a flyer, and you were slow, and your hit rates were worse. So, just don't like that for Ivy. Next up is Jade. Jade is solid A tier. She's a res tank, so like her personal skill gets plus res. I would personally like try reclassing her to Great Knight, so she would get even more out of that res. But let me actually see what's her res growth. Res growth is 30, so not terrible. So you could change her to a class with better res growth, like Great Knight is better than like Armor Knight in general, you know. And she's but yeah, Jade is solid. She's a woman of few words. That's a part of what makes her great. Not much else to say about Jade. She's just a great unit. Solid A. Jean. What can I say about this? Jean is... He has doubled growth rates, which sounds great, until you realize that he starts as a level 1 martial monk, which getting 10 levels on a martial monk is just very tedious, and honestly, it's too much investment on maddening. Like, you do better off like investing into like Etie, for example, than John, and like you have to do a paralog to get him. There's just a lot of stuff about Jean. He's really vulnerable. He's really weak. Let me check his growths. John's are doubled. I don't know if that means they're doubled already, but yeah, just kind of weak growths. Like, he's not exceptionally fast or bulky. It's just, no, just not for me. Sorry. Deal with it. Next up is Mid-Getsu. He comes at a point in the game right after you lose all your emblems, so he's not able to reclass into anything good. He's just stuck as Swordmaster. He's got great growths and bases, sure, but like you have so much investment into units at this point, and you've inherited stuff with the emblems that you've already had. He doesn't get any of that. He's also just he also has just failed me too many times in my run, personally. He's mid. Get over it. Next up is Lapis. Lapis is solid B tier. She's fast. That's the best part. She's somewhat strong, and she can take like one hit, usually, if you go to like Swordmaster. You can go to a lot of stuff with Lapis, though. You can go Hero, you can go like Wyvern if you want. Lapis is one of my personal favorite units, but I'm trying not to overrate her if I can avoid it. But great unit, solid potential, good with swords, so accurate, fast, just not the tankiest. So she can only take like 2 hits maybe before eating it. Linden. Linden is D tier. The reasoning for this is just he comes too late in the game, for one, and for two, he's not very accurate. His personal skill is really good, I'll give him that. But you have to reclass him into a class that like can take advantage of crits, like Berserker. And no, he actually has equal strength and magic growth for his personal. But he has not great dex. And just, yeah. I personally don't like my old men. There's not much else I can say beside that. Louis is next. Louis is fine. I think he's C. He's just not very mobile. Like, he's good as a tank, but he can be a little bit inaccurate in the early game, especially on maddening, which can be quite frustrating. And I just never preferred damage tanking. I've always just preferred avoid tanking as my thing, so. And he has such low res, like he will get one shot by a mage versus like Jade, who is I think a better character, and she starts higher level, so you can like promote her right away. versus Louis, who will die to a mage every single time, where Jade might make it. That's just what I think about that. Mauvir. So as a late game, he comes with good stats. So he's just A tier. He's good staff utility. Royal Knight is a good class to come in. Also, Betraying the Four Hounds is lit. So not much to say about that. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned, the tiers aren't ordered themselves. Yeah, and now I've mentioned that. And now we can move on. Marin. Easy S tier. She's a Wolf Knight. She has fantastic speed, dex, everything you want from a Wolf Knight. She has equal strength and magic for personal. She's got 50 speed personal, which is fantastic. Like, she doesn't need build really because she's carrying daggers. And just like, Wolf Knight is one of the best classes in the game, like, as it is anyway. So, like, her starting that is already a huge plus. And just like, she's just a powerhouse. Like, she's mobile, she's fast, she's somewhat strong, like easy S tier. Pantreo, so I'm gonna go A tier for Pantreo. He is he's good as a high priest, but you could reclass him to Wolf Knight. Obviously, let me do something real quick. Actually, never mind. I'm just worried I'm listening to music and it's gonna run out soon, so I'll have to restart it. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, who are we on? Pantreo? He's good as a high priest, obviously, but you can like have him go Mage Knight even, or Sage, and he just gets even better. He's got great magic, really good res. He's fairly fast too, so just overall a great unit. Now his sister, on the other hand, is I would say C tier. She can hit stuff at least sometimes, but she's, as a berserker, like, and as an axe user, she's not gonna have the best hit rates all the time. And to add on to that, she just, like, she's strength and nothing else. Like, she gets doubled by everything. She's rough dex, as I've already said. She can't like use any magic, which that's fine, I guess. But it's mainly just that she's only HP and strength and not much else. Good character, but I prefer Pantreo because I like my magic units. And I'm gonna do something really quick. I'm gonna restart the song. Alright, there we go. Alright, next up is Rosado. Now, let me see where I have Rosado. Oh, okay. I remember now. Rosado is D. As it turns out, being a wyvern with good growths but not good bases and joining late in the game is not the best. Like, Rosado, don't get me wrong, 75 HP growth, 45 strength growth. Like, Rosado has good growths, but by the time Rosado joins, he's just too weak compared to your other units. And like, him coming with Erica doesn't leave a good first impression for me personally. Like, he can't even one-shot the worm with Twin Strike on Maddening, I don't think. Which is frustrating to me. Makes Erica look bad, and Erica is really cool and not bad in any way. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Rosado, it's not cool. And he's too focused on being cute. It's not for me. Saphir. Saphir is an A tier. She comes out of Warrior, you know. Warrior's a good class, you know. She doesn't get to skyrocket to Warrior, unlike Etie, but, you know, Warrior is still solid overall. She is a late joiner, but I think she's pretty easy to pick up, and she's a Warrior for free, which, you know, backup with longbows, obviously a good thing. Not much else to say about Saphir. She's alright. I think she's solid. A tier. Seedall. S. I don't think I have to explain that. He's the dancer. Obvious S tier. Who's next? Tamara. Okay. Reddit's gonna hate me for this one. Actually, Reddit might love me. Who's gonna hate me? Coffee Nation. That's right. Tamara is just okay. She's a tank, but she's not She hasn't got anything particularly great going for her other than Sandstorm, which is completely luck-based. So, we got that going. And I think Halberdier is just better with pincer attack, but that might just be me. But yeah, C tier, not much to say about her. Fogato is way better. Better sibling. Vander. Almost done, actually. Wow, Vander's B tier. He's just very useful early game, but he falls off, so I'm just basing it off of his early game contributions are pretty good. Other than that, I mean, you can make him into fun. I've seen people make him into some funny stuff, and have him be actually like you can make him as like a staff bot or something. I don't know. I wouldn't, but you can. Veil. So Veil is A tier, a dragon who actually has good damage and comes with good stats, unlike Alir. Like Alir just is your lord, so like you have to like invest in all those stats, whereas Veil just comes with those stats already. Plus she's a magic unit with dragon benefits, which offers options for you with emblems that Alir doesn't offer. And Veil is just really sweet, so I like Veil. Not much else to say about that. Let's see. Okay, Yunaka. Zappy. Yes, S tier. Very, very obvious on this one. Like, she's a thief. She's got 5 move, while all the rest of your party has 4 move, or 5 if they're a cav. But she's got good, like, res gross, I think, for a thief, which is nice. Sets her apart from Zelkov, who we'll get to in a second. Yeah, let me look at Yunaka's growth. She's got good speed, good dex, she can hit stuff, she's got good res, which is helpful. And then, yeah, not much else to say other than that. She's just a solid S tier. Good unit. I use her in my runs. Not usually for the full team, because I feel like that would be cheating. But yeah, lastly, and sorry, I didn't mention, we're not going to rank our DLC. Fell Xenologue, that's lame. Zelkov. So Zelkov is B tier. He's got the same strengths as Yunaka, except he's way less tanky. Like, he's only got 15 res growth, where like personal, whereas Yunaka has 45, and he's just not as fast. Or he's just as strong actually, but he's just not as fast. His personal skill is good, but I like Yunaka's better. But yeah. And Yunaka comes when you can get stuff from emblems, whereas Zelkov, just same thing with Kagetsu, you just lost all your emblems, so yeah. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching this objectively accurate tier list that is definitely not like messed up in any way. If you want to argue with any of my placements, be sure to do so in the comments, and I will leave you a response if I get the chance. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.